Most life-threatening illnesses don't come with flashing warning signs. They don't announce themselves with pain or dramatic symptoms. In fact, some of the deadliest health threats in the world operate quietly, undetected, until the damage is already done. These are the silent killers conditions that thrive on our inattention. Every day, millions of people carry these risks without even knowing it. The good news is, they can be caught and prevented with the right knowledge. But what are the top 5 silent killers in the world right now? And more importantly, how can you protect yourself and your loved ones before it's too late? Stick around, because this could be one of the most important things you hear all year. 1. Hypertension. High blood pressure, or hypertension, affects over 1.2 billion people worldwide, and nearly half of them don't even know they have it. That's the scariest part. This condition rarely shows symptoms in its early stages, which is why it's earned the name the silent killer. Most people walk around with dangerously high pressure levels, completely unaware that their heart is working overtime and their blood vessels are under constant stress. Over time, this silent force can lead to heart attacks, strokes, aneurysms, kidney damage, and even vision loss. What makes it worse is how easy it is to ignore there's no pain, no dizziness, no discomfort in the beginning. That's why it's essential to monitor your blood pressure regularly, especially if you're over 35 or have a family history of heart disease. Prevention starts with a low-sodium diet, cutting back on processed foods, maintaining a healthy weight, and staying active. Even 30 minutes of walking a day can make a big difference. Limiting alcohol, quitting smoking, and managing stress through breathing exercises or mindfulness practices can further reduce your risk. Hypertension doesn't need to take over your life, but ignoring it gives it the chance. 2. Type 2. Diabetes. Type 2 diabetes doesn't happen overnight. It builds silently, often over years. And during that time, it can do enormous damage to your body without a single noticeable symptom. This disease interferes with how your body regulates blood sugar, and high glucose levels begin to harm your nerves, eyes, kidneys, and heart long before you feel anything. Some people only realize they're diabetic after a sudden complication like blurred vision, extreme fatigue, or a foot infection that won't heal. By then, damage has already been done. Globally, diabetes is one of the leading causes of death, and it's linked to serious conditions like heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure. But it's also one of the most preventable chronic illnesses. Key preventive steps include eating a balanced, fiber-rich diet, limiting sugar and processed carbs, exercising regularly, and keeping your weight in check. It's especially important to know your risk if you're over 40, overweight, or have a family history of diabetes. Early detection through simple blood tests like fasting glucose or A1C can give you the upper hand. Catching it early can mean reversing it entirely. Ignoring it means letting it spread silently through every part of your body. 3. Chronic kidney disease. Your kidneys filter around 50 gallons of blood every single day, removing waste and excess fluids from your body. But when they begin to fail, the signs are often so subtle they go unnoticed until the damage is severe. Chronic kidney disease, or CKD, is one of the most overlooked silent killers today. It typically develops as a complication of other conditions, like diabetes or hypertension, both of which silently harm the kidneys over time. Most people won't notice the early symptoms: mild fatigue, slight swelling in the ankles, or changes in urination. And that's the danger. By the time more severe signs show up, kidney function may already be below 30%. The scary part? Millions are living with CKD and don't know it. Preventing kidney disease starts with managing the conditions that cause it. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, keeping them controlled is your first line of defense. Drink enough water throughout the day, avoid excessive salt and processed foods, and be cautious with over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen and naproxen. They can damage your kidneys over time. Routine checkups should include a urine test and kidney function tests if you're at risk. Your kidneys may be quiet, but when they fail, they make a lot of noise. Don't wait for that moment. 4. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, is a progressive lung condition that quietly steals your ability to breathe. Unlike asthma, which flares up suddenly, COPD creeps in slowly. At first, you may feel out of breath when climbing stairs. Then you start coughing more often. Eventually, even simple tasks become exhausting. By then, your lungs may already be damaged beyond repair. The most common causes are smoking, air pollution, and exposure to industrial dust or fumes. Even if you quit smoking years ago, the long-term effects can still catch up with you. COPD affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide and ranks as one of the leading causes of death. Yet it remains largely undiagnosed in its early stages. Prevention starts with not smoking, period, but it also means protecting yourself from secondhand smoke, wearing protective gear in polluted or hazardous work environments, and getting regular lung screenings if you're over 40 and have a history of smoking. Early treatment can slow progression and improve quality of life significantly. If you're wheezing, coughing, or constantly short of breath, don't brush it off. Breathing is something most people take for granted until it's too late. 5. Peripheral artery disease. Peripheral artery disease, or PAD, is often mistaken for something harmless, just leg cramps, tired muscles, or a little stiffness. But underneath those symptoms could be something far more serious. PAD is a condition where arteries, especially those in your legs, become narrowed by plaque buildup, reducing blood flow. It's essentially heart disease in your limbs. Left untreated, PAD can lead to tissue death, amputation, and a higher risk of heart attack and stroke. It typically starts with pain during walking that eases with rest, but that's often dismissed or blamed on aging or bad posture. What makes PAD particularly dangerous is that it often points to systemic atherosclerosis, meaning if your leg arteries are clogged, chances are your heart and brain arteries are too. The condition affects 1 in 5 people over 60, and many of them have no clue. Preventing PAD is similar to preventing other cardiovascular issues. Quit smoking, control cholesterol and blood pressure, maintain a healthy weight, and stay physically active. There's also a simple test called the ankle brachial index that can detect PAD early. If your legs ache when you walk, don't ignore it. It could be your body's way of warning you that something much bigger is wrong. These killers don't yell, they don't scream, they whisper softly enough for you to ignore. But make no mistake, they are deadly. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, COPD, and PAD are claiming lives every single day, not because they can't be treated, but because they often go unnoticed until it's too late. But here's the truth. They can be stopped. You don't need to be a doctor to protect yourself. You just need to pay attention. Get checked, understand your risk factors, make small lifestyle changes before they become big problems. The most powerful weapon against a silent killer is awareness, so don't stay silent. Talk about this, share this video with someone you care about. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon. This isn't just health advice, it could be the reason someone you love stays alive.